Hello, everybody. My name is Michael Lifdansky, and I'm going to present Jeremy Slate later on, just in a few minutes. And today we're going to have an awesome webinar on social media and digital production. It's done by Jeremy, who is a very famous podcaster, and the Meditech company, who are an awesome company for social media. They specialize in dentists and doctors and other medical fields. For now, just a few rules. Like in any other webinar, we have questions at the end. And if you can hear me well, just put the pluses there. Like in any other webinar, just type in pluses. Yeah, so we can see that everything is good. And so questions, all the questions at the end. And video of this webinar will be available at the end. And just a few words before we start on that company which sponsored that webinar. So they are global partners of Ogilvy and McCain. Those are two biggest marketing companies in the world. So they that company services Eastern Europe for Ogilvy and McCain. They built this iPromo platform, which could be used for big businesses and small businesses like dental or medical practices. They are Coca-Cola global partner, and they cover Eurasia and Africa region. So this Meditech company is they have 6 years in digital market, 6 years experience in digital market in Europe, Asia, and Africa. 10 agencies, which are their customers, agencies like Ogilvy. Ogilvy is probably the most famous Madison Avenue marketing firm in the world, and they use this company. And they have 40 plus specialists which do social media and digital production, and 100 plus implemented projects or brands. Now, basically, duration will be about an hour, maybe a little more. Questions at the end. Have a pen and paper and a notebook. Obviously, spam and relevant comments are not allowed. And at the end, there will be a special bonus. And basically, a bonus that is valued at $500, but you can get it for free. And now I'm going to switch back to Jeremy's presentation and give over the mic. So enjoy.
Hey everybody, so hit me the plus sign down there if you can hear me, just so that I know that I'm good and everybody can hear me. And just reposition my mic so you guys can see me a little bit better. Cool, so today we're going to talk about building a digital brand, and it's because it's the best way to make yourself stand out. So I'm going to tell you guys first off a little bit about who I am. And well, before that, I want to remind you that if you hit anything that I say that you're like, hey, I don't know what that means, make sure you ask me, because I don't want to go forward not having you understand something. So if you don't understand something, hit it up in the chat and I'll be looking for it, and I'll make sure I explain myself to not have you go past anything misunderstood. So that's me. I am a accredited social media expert. I've got a pretty big following on Twitter, big following on Facebook, pretty big following on LinkedIn and Instagram. I was also ranked #1 in iTunes New and Noteworthy last year, and I've been ranked as high as 26. I write for a bunch of different publications, including Influensive and Secret Entourage. I actually just had another Secret Entourage article come out today. And I'm also the digital media manager for Clear Images Design and the founder of Slate Media. So a lot of different cool things going on here as well. So people I've connected with using digital media, I want to kind of give you guys an idea of what this can do for you. For me, in addition to getting myself out there, it's been a really, really big networking tool. So we have here Robert Tursek, who is the former CEO for Oprah and Tony Robbins. We see there Jared Glant, the VP of Sales for Grant Cardone. Any of you guys that know people that are big in the sales community know Grant. And funny enough, I actually interviewed Grant this morning. So I finally got the big guy, and I'm really excited about that. Kelly Starrett, who was opened the 5th CrossFit gym in the country. Kevin Harrington of Shark Tank. So a lot of pretty recognizable names here, and I've connected with all of them from podcasting and also from using social media. So it's been really cool and what I've been able to do, and I want to kind of show you how you can do some of that for yourself and help yourself and your business get to the next level. So we're going to deal today mainly with personal profiles, a little bit having to do with business profiles, and we're going to concentrate mainly on Facebook because that's where I've gotten a lot of my own action and publicity that way. So we're going to kind of concentrate there, and we're going to deal really in concepts rather than exact action steps, because I feel like it's easier to take a concept and customize it to each thing that you're doing. So I want you to think, first of all, these few things here, that you are a brand. And what does that mean? That there's something you're known for. There's something that you are different than anybody else in what you do. You know, there's a reason people like Coke over Pepsi or Pepsi over Coke. So you want to think about what you are in that way and what are you known for. And this is something that you may not know right away. It's something that may take you a little bit of time to develop, but it's what's going to help you to make yourself different than everybody else out there. So like I said, a lot of what we're talking about is going to apply to Facebook specifically because I've gotten a lot of action from Facebook. But what are you known for? Something to think about. If you're going to do things that are spammy, if they're always selling, if they're always doing things like that, you're going to get unfollowed and people aren't going to want to deal with you. It's like Gary Vaynerchuk, who is one of my favorite social media experts, says, you know, it's like boxing. You jab, 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 and then you hit them the right hook. The right hook is when you're selling your product. So you have to give a lot of value before you're ever going to ask for anything. And you want to think about, this is your viewpoint. It's customized to you. It's customized to what you're going to talk about. And your brand is never finished. It's always something you're building, 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 building. So it's something you're always going to be working on, and you want to definitely think about that. And this is something, too, you have to understand with social media as a whole, that it's an ecosystem. It's a giant connected web of different platforms. And that being said, you need to have a base, which for you should be your website, building to all these different social media platforms and places that it's going to. You need to be in as many different places as possible. And your branding, meaning like your colors, your pictures, things like that, should feel the same across all these platforms to not confuse people. But you also need to understand that each one of these platforms has different things that they like, you know, different things that do well. Like, for example, Instagram likes things that are a little bit more artistic. So if you want to research a little bit more about that, they call it native to the platform, meaning things that feel normal for that platform. So it's kind of really an interesting concept. And there's all different touch points. You want people to be able to find you anywhere. If they go to Facebook and can't find you, but you're only on Twitter, well, that's a problem. You need to be everywhere. You need to be in all of these places. So we're going to talk about basic content and, you know, your steps to creating content and how that can help you to, you know, like we said, jab, jab, jab. For those of you guys that don't understand boxing, jabs are little punches and a right hook is a big punch. So you're giving things before you're ever going to ask for a sale or anything like that. And I want to show you guys and give you some ideas on how your content can be kind of geared towards that. So first I want to go over some definitions because I think there can be a lot of confusion on this. People say my Facebook page. And there's two different types of Facebook pages. There's a business or brand page, and they can be for businesses, they can be for public figures, they can be for locations, and then there's personal pages. That's for you as an individual, and that's where you have friends. So for a business page, these are pages you can only like, and only 1 to 5% of anybody that likes your page is ever going to see anything you post. But you can run advertising on them, and the Facebook advertising platform is super, super, super powerful. And you can have unlimited connections. The guy I mentioned earlier, Grant Cardone, has, I think he recently went over 1 million people that like him on Facebook. That's a big deal. And you may see that 1 to 5%, and you say, wow, 1 to 5%, well, I definitely don't want a business page. No, you do. You need a business page. It's a good representation of your company and the advertising platform, like I said, because creepy as it may be, Facebook knows everything about you, is really important to have. Now, personal profile, this is where you're friends with somebody. And 70 to 80% of people that are friends with you can see what you post on Facebook. But you're limited to 5,000 connections. So that's a big problem, right? You say, oh my gosh, my business can only have 5,000 connections. So now that's where that business page is a lot more valuable because, like I said, you can have 1 million, 2 million, 3 million people like your business page. So you want to think long term and not short in terms of what you're doing with your page. Like a personal page is great, it's important, you need to have your personal page, but you also need to worry about your business and getting big. And you can't get big if you can only have 5,000 connections. So I want you to think about your imagery you're putting out. We see the two guys here, and it's which one would you follow in this case? We see the guy on the left. Don't know if I would follow that guy sitting in his chair in his underwear drinking a beer. And then we have the guy on the right that's Channing Tatum. Looks classy. Looks like a guy that I want to associate with. Looks like a guy that I want to, I don't know if I'll say learn from because I don't know what Channing Tatum would be teaching, but he at least gives you that appeal that he's somebody you want to associate with. So you want to think about the imagery you're putting out on your social platform. You want it to be something that puts your best foot forward at all times, but it also needs to feel real. It can't feel like you're unreachable. A lot of businesses now, when they're looking to hire people, will go and check out your social media profiles. And they'll say, oh my gosh, look at this guy drinking at a party or doing these different things. So you want to think about things that you don't want to portray because in order to have a business profile, you need to have a personal profile because it really helps to power that. You know, you're creating you and it's helping to create your business. And it's like parents always said, I want you to act a certain way because it's a reflection on me. It's the same way with your business. If people see these things on your personal profile that, you know, you're either not portraying yourself properly or you're talking about the sky is falling and the presidential election, all of these different things, it doesn't bode well for what you're trying to put out with your business. So that's something that you really need to think about in terms of what you're putting out on these social platforms. Now, your profile picture on your Facebook page is really important. It's something that really positions you in a good way. And you want to spend the money and get a good photo. If you are really looking to put yourself out there, it needs to look professional, it needs to look confident, but it needs to also look reachable. That's what I'm saying by reachable is relatable. Like people look at you and say, oh, I can have a conversation with that person. You don't want it to look like you're somebody that is way too famous that you can't be reached. And we see here the picture on the left, that's what I like to call the yearbook photo. That is a picture that looks like it was done at JCPenney or was in your high school yearbook, and it doesn't belong on your Facebook page because it just makes people look at it and like, oh man, look at this guy. And we see the picture on the right of Damon John. He looks awesome in that picture. Damon's really got it going on. He's the founder of the clothing brand FUBU, which if you didn't know stands for us, by us. Anyway. So content that you're creating should always be educating your audience, and you should always be creating great content. So everything you do should be making your customer, this is a good way to think about it, educating your customer to be a better customer. That's a really great thing to think about, right? You know, if you're selling wine, keep giving people more information about wine so when you have a product to sell, they know they're making the right decision. All right, am I back? Okay, good. Awesome. Sorry about that, guys. I think I stepped on a wire here. Anyway, Typorama, I'll put that over here in the chat, is the name of the quote app I use. And people really like quotes because they're really good to share. It's really good shareable content. The cool thing about Typorama is it's a iPhone or Android app that actually lets you put a quote by a famous person over top of an image. And those are really cool because they're shareable. But the one thing I always tell people is you want to put your, www dot whatever it may be .com, your company website at the bottom of that image, because then when they share that image, they're sharing your website. They're saying, "Oh, look, this person's inspiring." So that's what you want to think of. Or if you're on any other social media platform, let's say on Instagram, right? I am at Jeremy Ryan Slate. So if I'm sharing on Instagram, I'll do that because I want people to follow me. So you want to always find a way to bring people back to you if you're sharing these quotes. Pets. I love to share pictures of my dogs, and people love to comment and share pictures of my dogs. You want to create things that keep interest coming back to you. Life events I have here. I'm big into fitness, so I share a lot of fitness pictures and videos, and those are things that get people interested and excited. Or life events. So I have here, this is a picture from my honeymoon. So you want to think about things you can get people to share, be excited about. Also, maybe there are facts that have to do with your specific type of business that don't sound salesy. You never want to be directly selling a product. That's not the purpose here. We're trying to create a movement in social media, get people excited, get them following, get them liking, sharing. That's what we're really trying to do here in a social platform. So I'm also going to talk about something here called the story brand. People love to follow a story. They love to see something going on. I don't know how many of you guys have heard of the singer Modest Yahoo, but he's actually going to be on my podcast next month. And when I had verified that he was going to be on the show, I put up this post, and it was really exciting. He was somebody that ended up converting to Hasidic Judaism to help him handle a drug problem he had had. And you'll see here, I take you through the steps of he, had a drug problem. He then had lost his faith, but then finding faith again helped him to get clean and helped him to put himself in a certain way that he was then able to get famous in music because he kind of had this shtick of everybody was looking at the guy in the hat and the curls and they were interested in what he was doing. So that was his brand. That was what was going on with him. But I told it in the way of, you'll see it here, this long form story. If you're posting an image, a lot of text with it helps people be interested and drawn into what you're talking about. People love to see different things that are going on here. And you'll see this post here had 63 likes. I think it ended up well over 100 by the end of this. I took this screenshot early on in the sharing of it. I'm going to give you a few examples here too, and we'll actually get a little bit more later into this on what I like to call activating people into your mission. So we're going to talk about here creating your action plan as well. So I want to give you guys something that you can move forward with, that you can really start building content for your brand and really start creating something that's naturally you. And I think a lot of people get confused when they first start and they think everything has to be perfect. And a lot of times you just need to get started. So I'm going to give you guys some basic concepts that I hope in the next 24 hours you can put into action, and you can start really moving forward and getting excited and getting your brand out there. Because like I said, you as an individual are going to help promote your company, and you're going to see at the end of this that there's something that's actually going to help the company part of this, but you have to do your part by building your social brand. So what is your big idea? You'll see this here. Mikhail mentioned the PR firm. Michael, sorry, mentioned the PR firm earlier called Ogilvy. And this is actually something that comes from Ogilvy. What's your purpose? What's your big idea? What are you known for? So my example here that I'm using is Scrabble. So the big idea of Scrabble is that they believe the world would be a better place if we rediscovered the magic of words. We have the cultural tension here that words are great, danger, but vital to understand and enjoying our world. And then the brand's best self says that we turn words into funny occasions with family and friends. So these are two things that, aside, are important, but where they intersect is this big idea. What are you known for? What is your mission? You may be a doctor, but what are you giving people? Um, if you're curing them of a certain disease, are you giving them, maybe their ability to walk back, their ability to spend time with their family? What is the big idea that you're doing? It's deeper than just, I do X, Y, Z. It's way more important than that. And this may not be something that you get right away, but start thinking about it. Start working it out, because a big idea is what separates you from other people. I'll give you the example of Apple. I read a book by a guy named Simon Sinek called Starting with Why, and he talks about how important why is. And in this case, the why is the big idea. Why you do something. And he talks about Apple. Their big idea is that they walk outside the lines. They do things different. They try to innovate. And a lot of people, myself included, will buy a lot of Apple products, even if they're more expensive, because we believe in what Apple does. That's their big idea. Their big idea is that they're different. So you want to think about, with your brand, with your social media, how are you different? How are you able to do something? And you really want to start working that out. If you don't get it right away, that's fine. A lot of people go years before they figure it out. But if once you get it, you get it. And that's what's really going to help you get yourself moving forward. And it's important that you're working on that. What's your purpose? What's your big idea? What are you doing here? What were you put here with your business to do? So we're going to talk about, first of all, finding people that matter. Who are they? Where are they? And one of the big things I like to do is, maybe for you it's a word processor, but for me it's Excel. I love creating a spreadsheet. And one of the big things I started with was the top 100 influencers in my field. And I'm going to kind of show you some of this with podcasting, right? So podcasting, I interview a lot of other people, and I started with a list of 100. And I decided, I'm going to figure out who are the people that matter. Who are the people that, if I'm seen with them, if I'm sharing their content, if I'm talking to them, it's going to matter. So I went and searched them out. I looked on Amazon Books. I looked in all different places to find out. For me, I talk to people that are business people. So I wanted to find out, who are people listening to? Who is most important? And I made a spreadsheet of over 100 of them. And then I started contacting those people to try and get interviews from them, because I want to learn what they know. I want to be seen with them. I want to be seen talking to them. These are things that are really, really important. You also want to think about Facebook groups. Facebook groups are super, super important. Where do your people gather in terms of Facebook groups? So one of the groups I'm in is a Facebook group of entrepreneurs called the Entrepreneur Lifestyle Group, run by a guy named Gallant Dill. And it has, I think, like 80,000 people in it. That's a lot of people in a group. That's a lot of people that are interested in what I'm interested in gathering in one place. So you really want to think about, what are Facebook groups that people I'm going to be dealing with are interested in. LinkedIn groups. LinkedIn users tend to log in a lot less. So there may be a ton of people in them, but they're less active. I think the social media group I'm a member of in LinkedIn has like 1.4 million people in it. But LinkedIn users tend to be a lot less active. Facebook users are on many times a day, using it all day. A LinkedIn user on average logs in once a week. So those groups may be huge, but you may not have as many touches as you're going to have in a Facebook group. So you want to find out who are the people, the influencers, the top 100 in my case that I want to talk to. Where are maybe the Facebook groups they're using, and then where are maybe the LinkedIn groups they're using. So you want to start listing these. Make yourself a spreadsheet and start figuring out who these people are. So now, like I did, you want to contact some of these people. See how you can be of value to them. One of the big things I say at the end of every podcast interview after I've shut off the recording is, what can I do for you? Because once you find that you're valuable to a lot of these people, maybe it's sharing their posts, maybe it's helping them produce a piece of content, maybe it's writing a blog post for them. How can I be of value to you? And that's going to help you create more credibility in your social media brand and maybe have more people want to be your friend, like your business page. You're creating more awareness, you're getting yourself more out there, and you're also going to learn about them, and it's going to help you craft your message. Why are they saying the things that they're saying? Why are they doing the things that they're doing? If you'll observe Gary Vaynerchuk, who, like I mentioned earlier, who is a social media expert and has a company called VaynerMedia that works mainly with, I think, sports teams or something like that. But he talks about this whole idea of hustle. And that's what he's known for. People think of hustle. I mentioned Grant Cardone earlier. People know that he's the 10X guy. He wants to do things 10 times the amount of effort. So that's what they're known for. And you're going to want to craft a message that you're known for something, that you are known in a certain way. And by studying other people and studying what they're doing, you're going to be able to craft your own message. So one of the formats I've used for contacting people is I tell them a little bit about me. I'm a social media expert. I am a podcaster, blah, blah, blah. I tell them what I've done. It's really important to create some credibility. I've talked to this person. I've written for this website. And then how can I benefit them? And I think this is the part that a lot of people leave out when they contact somebody is, how can them talking to you, associating with you, benefit them? If you're not thinking of how you can offer something to somebody, then it's not really something that's super valuable to them. So you want to think about, how can I be of value? And that's one of the operating procedures, especially in social media, that I try to explain to people, because they don't always get that, is you have to think of how you can be of value to other people, because they're always like, all right, what can this person give me? What can this person give me? Remember what I mentioned earlier, that you need to jab, jab, jab before you hit with your right hook. You need to give with a lot of stuff before you're ever going to get anything. So if you want to apply the same logic to a LinkedIn or Facebook group, instead of sending somebody a message or an email, tell them what your name is, tell them what you do, and find out what everybody else in that group does, and find out what's valuable in that group. A little pro tip here: when I join a group, I will also find out who the group admin is and send them a message. Tell them who I am, tell them what I do, ask them, hey, is it okay if I share something in this group once in a while? What's most valuable in terms of content to this group? Because you'll find with a lot of these groups that they have certain rules. You can't just drop links to your website or links to your blog. You have to actually write valuable things, because they'll see that as spam. And you don't want to be spamming these groups, because then you're not valuable and you're going to get kicked out, and then you can't be part of the group. So you'll find, though, that when you message them, I found this especially with sharing my podcast episodes. If I message the admin, tell them what I do, and I say, hey, I have a podcast, interviews successful entrepreneurs, finds out what makes them tick. Can I share a relevant post in your group once in a while if I show it to you first? A lot of times they'll let you do it. So instead of just dropping a link in the group, getting permission before you do it, you have a better shot of doing it. So really meeting the person that runs a group, finding out about them, finding out what they value, is going to be a way you can be more valuable to that group. And because of that, generate more interest on social media, have more people finding your page, liking your page, or sending you a friend request. These are, once again, ways that you're going to grow that social media following and become more valuable. my video froze up and I had to log back in. So I hope everybody's still with me. Anyway, we talked in the last step about connecting with opinion leaders in your space. So those for me are the group admins. They are, by admins, I mean administrators, people running the group. And those are also the people on that list of 100 that I made, the people that are really important, really influential, and really people are listening to them. They're the people that are important in the space. So we talked about connecting to those people and how it's really important, and you can kind of learn from them. And they've been in your field for a while, so maybe if you can't connect with them directly, you're studying what they do, you can learn what's working. You can definitely add your own flavor to it. But if it's already working, there's no need to recreate the wheel. And for me, interviewing them was really important. Maybe interviewing them for you isn't going to be something that works, but it helped me to create blogs. It helped me to create podcasts. It helped me to create YouTube videos. And that way you're getting help at creating your initial content at first when maybe you don't have a lot of credibility right away. Maybe you've been a doctor or a lawyer or a dentist or a chiropractor for years, but you're new to the online space, so you still have to start from ground zero. So you need to borrow somebody else's credibility for a little bit. So I find sharing other people's content, interviewing people, sharing other people's videos, that's something that is allowing you to build credibility because maybe you know everything that could possibly be known on the subject, but the online world doesn't know that yet. So you have to start building that credibility. And if you're looking at the same thing in a group, find people that post a lot and add them as a friend. Find out what they find is valuable in this group. You want to find people that have already been doing it so that you can learn from them, so you can model them, so you can see what's working, because there's no reason for you to go out and figure out something new if there's already something working. If there's already something that's been tried and true, there's no reason to go out and try something brand new and untried in this way. Later on, we can worry about innovating. But right now, if we're new and just getting started, you know, let's look at what's already working, let's model that, and let's get moving forward in a bigger and better way. So now we're going to start creating unique content. Once we're established, once we've gotten some credibility, and I find that groups for this portion are really, really good because people will talk about a lot of different stuff in a group they won't talk about publicly on their Facebook page. They may post in a group, I'm having XYZ problem, I'm experiencing XYZ in my business, this thing in my health has been a problem, and you're able to then kind of find out what's happening. Be interested in what they're talking about. Ask some questions. If they're saying that diabetes has been an issue for them, what about it? What's been the big issue? What have you tried? What's been successful? What's not been successful? Now you're not only getting ideas of maybe how you can position your product or service differently, you're also getting ideas. This is almost like a survey on the things that they need to know about, the things that would help them build I guess, have a healthier lifestyle or build a better business or any of those things. And once you've kind of established some credibility for a long time, you can maybe start your own Facebook group or LinkedIn group. It's definitely going to be something, I'm not going to say it's easy, but having your own group is substantially more work. It's substantially more involvement from yourself, but it can pay off in the long run. But you have to kind of, start with who is successful, what are they doing, observing people in groups that are having issues, finding out about those issues, seeing how they're going, and then creating content to answer those questions. If I see somebody is having a problem with cars in terms of tires or something like that, I can share information about what you need to know to have good tires or good tire care. So those are things that you want to be solving problems for people. And if you're just listening, if you're just observing, if you're just reading, interacting with people, you're going to observe what they're looking for and then create content to that end. It's that easy. It's that easy to observe that. So social media is perfect for expanding your network. And for me, it's been really, really great. Like I said, I've connected with a lot of people that have helped me, from less than a year ago, not being well known, to talking to people that I've admired for years and finding that they're not that hard to reach. Social media is great for expanding your circle of influence. Um, I'm going to talk in a couple seconds about activating people and what that looks like. So that's getting people involved in what you're doing. Social media, especially Facebook, is great for kind of tagging people in what you're doing. Now, what I mean by that is you can hit the @ symbol and then type their name, and it'll pop up, and you can click on them, and you can add them into your post. Now, you may say, oh, that's a great idea. I'm going to tag people in everything I do. Not always. Make sure it's relevant, and don't tag 50 people in a post. Like you'll see it says, this person and 50 others. People don't like that. It's annoying. When I log in and see my notifications and see that they tag me in a post that really has nothing of relevance to do with me, I'm either going to delete them or unfollow them. Now, what is that on Facebook? This is something that can be a little confusing, but there's something called an unfollow button when somebody's your friend, where they can still be friends with you, but they can decide not to follow your updates. So if you get annoying, if you get too political, too religious, to any of these things, they may unfollow you. So like I said, if you're trying to promote your business, if you're trying to add value, I know sometimes it stinks to have to pull back your personal opinions, but in order to really grow a social following, you have to kind of pull it back a little bit. I don't know how many people we have here listening from the U.S., but we have two animals that stand for our political parties. The Republicans are an elephant and the Democrats are the donkey. And I like to say that on social media, you're not going to change a donkey into an elephant or an elephant into a donkey. You're not going to change anyone's opinion by standing on your social media soapbox. But if you're educating people, if you're offering value, you are going to help them become a more educated buyer, a bigger fan of your company, of what you're doing, of your mission. So you want to think about not alienating them and making them not want to follow and look at what you're doing. So interact with people according to their real interests. If I know somebody has a interest in fitness and I know it's really relevant to them, I'll tag them in a video or I'll share a video to their page. I'm getting them to notice me. I'm getting them to see what I'm doing. I'll also post for everybody's birthday. Because one of the big things I'll do is maybe somebody hasn't thought of me in years. Maybe they are somebody I went to high school with, but I write happy birthday on there, and it gets them to look at what I'm doing. It gets them to notice me. It gets them to remember me. It gets them to say, hey, look, this person went to dental school and they're practicing now. Well, let me take a look and go, you know what? I think I'll go like their practices fan page. There you go. You're on people's minds by continually interacting with them, and that's something you really want to think about. Also, sharing others' content. Sharing others' content can be something that is really going to help you, I guess, endear yourself to them. Because now in the future, if you write a post about, the latest procedure your dental office is offering, they may share it. And now their friends that you're not connected with have now been exposed to your piece of content. So you want to think about how you can offer some sort of value so that you're getting value back in exchange. So I talked a minute ago about getting people involved in what I'm doing. I recently wrote a post. My podcast is called Create Your Own Life. But I wrote a post about the top 30 entrepreneurs creating life on their own terms under 30. A mouthful, I know, but it kind of was trying to get the idea of what my brand does over. So I had this idea, and this all happened in a matter of minutes. I said, I need your help. I'm putting together a list of the top 30 people under 30 creating life on their own terms, looking for people that would go well on this list. And the 5 people I thought of that should definitely be on this list were guys that I was following, guys that I was paying attention to, Alex Morton, Gallant Dill, Nathan Latka. So I tagged them all in this post. And because of that, people that saw these updates, people that were my friends, then started giving me nominations. So this post filled up very quickly, and I got almost, I think, 60 nominations of people to be on this list. Exciting, because I didn't have to go out and find all these people. Now, I did have to research them and see how many of them were actually legitimately entrepreneurs doing things. But this got like 200 likes. It got almost 100 comments. And this gave me all the people that I then needed to write my article about. So then when I put this article out, I think now it came out about 2 weeks ago, is up to about 30,000 views, and I forget how many comments. It's up to 7,000 social shares. So I use social media to help me write an article, and it made a big splash out there in the online world. So this is a way that I was able to really activate people to get interested in what I was doing and actually help me forward my mission. So super cool here. And this is how you want to think about this. How can I use this for what I'm doing? How can I use this to get my message out? So there's different ways you can activate your fans, but you want to think about what is a fan too, right? So you've been connected with people for a while, and maybe they're getting really excited and they're sharing a lot of your content. Well, I'd consider that person a fan of what I'm doing now. Maybe they're not liking my fan page, but they're interacting with me a lot. I've created somebody that's a fan, that's interested, that will share my content. So they will share your content and help you reach a wider audience. And for myself, when I wanted to reach certain audiences, I had a guest host on my podcast once in a while, and it expanded me to their network when they shared on their Facebook page. So these are things you want to think about. I say here, I'm going to share an article, and I tag my friend Drew because I know he'll like what's in this article and he'll share it. So you want to think about now as you've connected to opinion leaders, you found the right groups, you found the content that's working, you're creating your own content, you found the people that are going to like and share your content. Now you're growing a brand, you're growing a sphere of influence, and that's how social media can really help you do that. So you're going to keep refining this content. You're going to find out what works. Look at your likes and your comments because that's almost like another survey. You're figuring out what's working, you're figuring out what's a winner, and let's say if something gets 0 likes, obviously a loser. Don't share it again, or think about the way you wrote it. Because this is going to help you find out what people are looking for. And this is as true on a fan page as it is on a personal page. If it's getting a lot of interaction, then it's something that people really like. And here's an interesting pro tip too. If you're seeing something's getting a lot of likes and comments, I'll usually wait a few hours before I like and comment on it again. Because one of the things that Facebook does to rank posts is they'll rank them a lot of times by interaction. So let's say when I see that the interaction is starting to die out, I'll comment back to all those people that commented on my post now. So it looks exciting to Facebook again, and they push it back up to the top. And that means more people like and comment. So you have to kind of think with a lot of these things, and that's a strategy that I've used for quite a long time to try and get my content out to more people. I'll wait till people stop interacting with it. It seems like it's dying. Then I'll go back and comment back to all those people. It goes back to the top of people's screens or feeds, and then it's exposed to more people again. So it's the way you can keep this cycle kind of moving for yourself. So now that you know what's working, you know the type of content you need to create, you could start optimizing it. You can start, maybe creating checklists. You could start maybe using a scheduling software like Buffer app or Hootsuite or something to schedule out some of this content now that you know what's working. It's definitely when you get started building, I guess, what you want to call your social media brand, it's going to be a lot more labor intensive. So that's what you really want to think about. A lot more upfront work, but it's going to be less work in the end for growing influence, bringing in more patients, more clients, whatever it may be. But you want to really think about that. So now that you know what's working for your personal profile, it's time to get started with that business profile. And there can be some things that can be a little bit more, I guess, of a confronting process for the business profile. And we're actually going to be giving you some help today on this webinar, and we'll get to that in just a second. But I want you to think about, the rules here. They're simple, guys. Your friends on your personal page, they're your fans on your business page. Your best friends become your brand advocates. Your photos maybe are photos of your product. Maybe they're sayings, they're quotes, they're memes, they're things that are going to engage people and get them excited. So you want to really think about that. There's a difference. You want to know more? Like I said, there is a difference to promoting yourself correctly. Your personal page is up to you. There's not a lot of people that can put your flavor into it, but getting your business out there in the right way, getting your campaigns to match, getting things to work properly, your business may need some help to get that done, and Miratech is going to help you do that, and they're actually offering a free gift that Michael's going to tell you about in just a second that's going to help you get that moving forward. So hope you guys got a lot out of what I had to talk about today. I'm going to turn you back over to Michael, and hope I was valuable to you, and I hope you guys check out what Miratech has to offer.
Thank you, Jeremy. That was awesome. That was excellent. It was very simple and nicely laid out. So, yes, I'm back. Um, my name is Michael again, and I work with and help Meditech company to get established in the United States. And the special bonus now, right? So, basically, Meditech provides digital production and digital social media services for medical field specifically. They work with all these big brands like Coca-Cola and Ogilvy and others, but they also now providing services for smaller businesses and for dental, for medical. So basically, what they do, they can set up all the social media. Let's say if what you heard from Jeremy, which it was an excellent data, excellent ways of building social media. But if you don't want to do it all by yourself, then there is that resource, which is Meditech. They build this iPromo platform, and that is basically all integrated into your social media goals and needs. That could be a website which is integrated with Facebook and Google and has a calendar to signing up patients or customers or clients. And this website can be fed from Facebook. Let's say there is an ad running for your practice on Facebook, and patients would click on it and they will sign in, and they can be taken directly to your calendar in on your website. Website is very professionally looking. And another very important point I just want to make as last point is that all promotion marketing is moving towards social media now. So all the websites are a big liability now. In other words, people will see, well, the website is old, it kind of looks dinky, not professional, so they wouldn't necessarily go to that practice. But it's all moving towards social media, not even websites anymore. It's presence on Facebook, presence on Google, its presence on LinkedIn. It's a must. So in other words, I read, and really studied some research into medical field, and those who would not be, let's say, present in medical on social media would not be present, let's say, in 3 years. The in 3 years' time, the business will really suffer and might even close the practice or the business. It's because the world is moving very fast towards social media. So it's a good time to actually just jump on it, and if not doing it all by yourself, like Jeremy showed us, but then hire some specialists. And we, in fact, is gonna put a link here for free consultation, and that's what the offer here is, and special bonus is. Uh, so Meditech guys can, for free, just take a look at all your websites and all your social media pages and come up with a working prototype of a website or social media campaign. And they also, for those offices that really want to spend a little more money, they can do this awesome show reels, like you saw in the beginning, like they did for Coca-Cola, or they did for Samsung, so they're partners with Samsung. Then they can do those promotional show reels, like mini movies, like little 1 minute movie on YouTube, where you can actually can have a specific concept or something you want to show patients, and it will be done in a very aesthetic way, either as a movie or as a cartoon, and that will be very unique. That'll be so you see you have this um, top quality branding and digital production applied to your own practice in your area. That will really make you stand out. And also their prices are not that expensive, to say the least, compared to US based social media companies, because they are based in Eastern Europe, in Ukraine. So I'll ask Natalie to actually drop a link here into the chat, and this is the link for um, just a free consultation. I'll see if I can uh, basically, and just sign up, and somebody will get. I'll drop it also as well. Um, just sign up, and somebody will get in touch with you, and they can look at all your promotion, existing website, or any presence on Facebook or lack of presence on Facebook, which I did find many doctor offices in New York, for example, or dental offices. I myself live in New York, so um, many don't even have any social media presence at all. They only use ZocDoc or 1-800-Dentists, and they basically just rely on that. But as soon as there is another doctor with better ratings on ZocDoc or 1-800-Dentists, then the flow of patients would go there. So it's not reliable. Uh, you have to really be more positive over your own promotion in your practice rather than rely on 1-800-Dentist or ZocDoc. It's definitely pays to be on those platforms, but going into the future, you would have to really be more positive over that. If there's any questions, you can type them up, and me or Jeremy will answer them. But otherwise, we'll be probably wrapping up, and definitely put that request in. It's totally free. There is no obligation. You'll get an awesome analysis of your existing website and and social media presence. In fact, those who filled out this request before the webinar, I actually went and looked at their websites. There were 3 dental practices, and yes, I can see the websites were very amateurish. They were amateur, so they were probably done by somebody in WordPress platform for $1,500. So, which don't necessarily have any calendar, don't have the driver from social media that will drive patients right into your calendar on the site. And then the staff in the office can really, check that calendar. And that, I know, is definitely the most important for dental or medical practice. This flow of bookings into the calendar. I know one consulting company that takes $100,000 to train staff into really booking calendars in advance and having calendar filled in months in advance. And my dentist in New Jersey that I go to, they took that course and they did actually achieve that. I as a patient, I myself cannot sign up with them for 2 months. I have to book my dental appointment 2 months in advance, and that's because they put so much money into that course and they put so much money into building this website. But it doesn't have to be that much. It could be really done much cheaper. But in other words, so the main point is this social media production actually helps to establish your practice and actually grow your practice. With good quality social media productions, you can grow your practice, in 1 year at least by 50%. That's at least value of patients and maybe hiring another dentist or any other things you want to grow with. So okay, so then I think we'll be wrapping up. Definitely, I dropped that link. Definitely, fill out that request and find out more. We have me personally and a few other people we're working with, and Meditech. We have lots of experience in dental and medical field. That's with the focus of our webinar today specifically. But okay, so we'll be closing now. If there's no questions, thank you very much for sharing this evening with us today. It was a pleasure, and thank you to Jeremy again. Thank you.